Vampire Survivor became a cult classic that created a niche within the roguelike genre that focused on movement and space. The formula has led to many other iterations of the dodge, dive, duck, dip, and dodge mechanics, and Hero Survival splashes on the scene to make a name for themselves. Tap that subscribe button if you enjoy the video, and let's dive into what I enjoyed about Hero Survival and what I wish they did differently. Diving into the combat, it quickly becomes evident that the main focus of Hero Survival is its gunplay.
Say hello to my little friend!
You're offered a variety of guns such as pistols, revolvers, SMGs, shotguns, assault rifles, snipers, machine guns, grenade launchers, and more to take out the waves of Halloween baddies. Each weapon has its distinct advantages and disadvantages, like the shotgun being very proficient at close range but comes at the cost of getting comfortable with enemies being close to you. As you complete each wave, you're offered weapons and buffs of varying rarity to add to your arsenal or character stats. You're granted the ability to wield 4 guns at once, so mixing, matching, and synergizing gun styles has tangible impact in the early waves. It's nice having the gun-centric aspect of the game, but my only gripe is that once you get into the later waves of the map, it didn't really matter what guns you had as long as they were purple rarity or better. While the guns begin to blend together in the later stages, it's the build types that will influence your gun decisions as you progress through the waves of spooky monsters. Like many roguelites, it's all about synergizing with your build. Hero Survival has the same focus, though I wish it was a little deeper. After first leveling up your character, you're presented with 3 options to focus your build around: Bomber, Gunslinger, and Cryomancer. The Bomber's build focuses on bombs dropping from eliminated enemies and wiping out big crowds. Gunslinger is all about gunplay with increased fire rates and piercing bullets. And last but not least, Cryomancer puts a major focus on crowd control by freezing enemies that take damage from you. The gun choices become a significant factor in the early waves based on what build you opt for. Bomber is great with weapons that have a high burst damage and can eliminate monsters quickly. Gunslinger encourages ranged and power weapons like snipers, flintlocks, and grenade launchers, and automatic weapons are perfect for the Cryomancer build because each bullet has potential to freeze an enemy. The chase of finding the perfect gun for your build creates an addicting desire to find what works for you and create a balance of high damage and space creation. I enjoy the variety of playstyles between the 3 different build types, but my only issue is that regardless of what character you use, you're locked into only using those 3 builds. I would have loved to see character-specific build options, even if it's just 1 additional build per character. With the limited variety, it resulted in me finding the one build that works best for me and sticking with that throughout all of the maps. My personal favorite build is the Bomber because of how quickly you can mow down crowds at higher levels. The initial waves can be a little chaotic as you level up, but once you hit level 3 and up on your skills, it's game over for Count Chocula and friends. In regards to the characters, instead of having unique builds, the stats are adjusted among each playable Slayer. The most common attribute changes are health, movement speed, damage output, luck, and greed. Each stat is pretty straightforward, with greed representing how many credits you get for picking up each coin. Whenever I found myself stuck on a level, I'd go back to the previous map to rack up credits to unlock new characters. The most important stat that led to the most success for me is the increased damage. Having higher damage output from less guns in those early waves made crowd control management less daunting and often resulted in quicker leveling. While unlocking new characters provides an instant buff to your stats, it isn't the only way you can create an OP character. The final catalyst to how successful or stressful your build will be is the item buffs. When completing each wave, you're presented with 4 items that can either be buffs or weapons. As you mow down the early waves and acquire your favorite guns, the skills in the end waves will be what takes your build to that next level. Each item has a set of stats that either buff or nerf your current character stats such as damage, dodge, greed, crit damage, and more. Any skill outside of legendary rarity will force you to make some tough decisions because of the stats you gain and lose from these skills. I didn't mind the buffs that were presented, I just wish there was a little more depth to them, like gun or elemental specific buffs to synergize with your build. It felt like a new and shiny gun was always the better option until you get to waves 8 and up. The maps are another area where they're solid, but lack depth that prevents each map from feeling unique. Each biome has a distinct look ranging from forests to deserts to frozen over lakes. There's no unique enemies or a new boss for each map. Instead, each map you progress through has bigger waves with spongier enemies and more loot. I would have loved to see more enemy variety and terrain changes depending on the map that you chose. Heroes Survival does a solid job capturing the varying impact of the guns, character stats, and build types, but has an overarching hiccup in the depth department. I would have loved to see elemental buffs, certain guns having specific synergies with one another, unique build types for different characters, and more enemy variety for each map. The shooter inspired by Vampire Survivor is without a doubt addicting to play and had a great time struggling through the waves of enemies, but the lack of depth makes the replayability suffer just a tad after completing the 4 maps in total. I would have loved to see different playstyles be stronger and weaker on certain maps instead of finding the style that works for you and rolling with that through the end. While I find myself asking for more in the depth department, the $5 price tag makes the experience worthwhile and is still fun for anyone looking to get into the movement-focused, crowd-controlling roguelike genre. If you're a fan of Vampire Survivor, it doesn't quite hit the same depth levels, but provides a fun factor that made it hard to put down until the end. If you're looking to dip your feet into the genre for the first time, it's a great gateway drug into the roguelike niche. Heroes Survival comes out guns blazing with fun-to-play action, but has a few bullet jams in the depth department, resulting in a 7 out of 10. And that right there wraps up the review of Heroes Survival. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it and spread the love. If you want to stay up to date on future reviews, go ahead and tap that subscribe button. I want to thank the developers from Sometimes You for giving me an early access copy for the review. I appreciate the support and look forward to more games from them in the future. Thank you as well to all the viewers for supporting the channel and checking out the video. This is Josh Robinson with Joystick Gamer. Thank you as always, and stay gaming out there.